Count Radio. At this time, let's welcome Chuck Palumbo to the broadcast.
Yeah, well, I'm not worried about the finish.
How you guys doing?
Doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. I just finished a photo shoot. I was in a rough spot doing a photo shoot for my band, man. We're doing some stuff for promo we're getting ready to do, and I tried to phone a little earlier, but I kept losing the reception.
No problem. Well, we got a lot of great questions for you, so why don't we go ahead and get started?
Broke the neck.
Oh, it did break it.
What was it like training with the WWE Power Plant?
Oh, man. It was good. It just, I'll be honest with you, we didn't learn much about wrestling. It was more of a drill sergeant environment. Gosh, man, it was all about being in shape physically. We really didn't learn the wrestling. We took bumps all day, man, you know. If I was to do it again, I probably would have won a different route. Really, you know.
Yeah. Would you say it was harder than maybe the other guy down the road that trained with somebody else?
You know, yes and no. Harder because we didn't learn psychology. It was all physical, you know. Mm-hmm. Drills, taking bumps, learning moves, but not to know why, you know. We didn't have any psychology under our belt. I think if I had learned the psychology first, moves second, I would have been better off. But I do have to say one thing. Being at the power plant gave me the opportunity to get on WCW television. So there was like an inside with that.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense completely.
You know? Yeah.
Right. How was your relationship with Ed Ferreira and Vince Russo?
Excellent. Vince Russo is an excellent guy. Ed's an excellent guy. I'm hoping to get in and work with Vince down at TNA, you know. I've been speaking with those guys, and hopefully I'll get in there, you know.
So do you think Russo gets too much of a bad rep from people?
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, Russo gave the young guys a chance when no one else would back in WCW. And if you remember, Russo was writing back when WWF was on their strong run, you know. An attitude era, you know. People forget about that, you know.
Yeah, they really do.
I mean, that was, if you ask me, that was the highlight of wrestling. Between the NWO, WWF attitude, I mean, wrestling was strong back then. I mean, mainstream strong, you know.
Mm-hmm. I agree completely.
What were your thoughts of when you initially met Eric Bischoff?
Actually, you know, Eric has always been good to me. You know, I've seen him be a dick to people, but he's been good to me. Gave me an opportunity when I was young and green and probably didn't even deserve it, but gave me an opportunity, and we've been friends ever since, man. I like Eric. He's got a great mind for the business. Could WCW have been run a little bit better? Yes. Did he book himself into the show a little too much? Yes. But he was edgy, and obviously he was working because he spanked Vince McMahon for 86 weeks straight, roughly, you know?
Right.
Definitely. What are your memories of feuding with the Total Package, Lex Luger?
Lex, it was okay in the beginning. He didn't even want to work with me. You know, Lex was a cocky, arrogant son of a bitch. He didn't want to work with me, but once he got to know me and realized I was, you know, I just wanted to be a part of it, and I was, you know, just felt fortunate to be working with him. He kind of chilled out a little bit. It was a good time, and it was the last time I got to work with Elizabeth, too, and God rest her soul. You know, it was just a good time. But, you know, Lex, we had to really almost beg him to get this thing to work, which wasn't cool. I mean,
that's not
too
how
bad,
it
you know.
should be.
It's too bad. I mean, I know me now, being an older guy, I never had a chance to get his overs like that, but if I was, I'd rub a guy and bring him in the right way. But these guys are so egotistical and cocky, arrogant, and number one, insecure, that they're worried about a guy taking their spot. So I think that's what happened there. But too bad because, like, you know, where is he now, you know?
Yeah, do you feel he deserved that ego?
I'm sorry, did he deserve to have that ego?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, absolutely not. I mean, yeah, he was okay. Can't work a lick, but he was over and he made a lot of money. And, you know, if you think about it, the ultimate thing in this business is to make money, and he made the money. But obviously he dropped the ball and screwed up. And, you know, it's a round world. Things come around, and what's he doing now, you know?
Right. What are your memories of being part of the New Blood?
New Blood was okay. They didn't do it right in WWF. I mean, You know, Vince's main deal is when he brings someone else in, he breaks them back down to nothing and builds them back up. You know, he never brings a guy in and lets him keep rolling. You know, so it's like we were on a pretty good roll in WCW as young guys, and he brought us in and broke us all down. It's too bad, but that's the way it goes. You know.
Yeah, a lot of people actually think that the New Blood versus Millionaires Club feud, started with a lot of potential, but WCW dropped the ball. Would you agree on that?
Absolutely. And it goes back to these older vets not wanting to participate and work and help these younger guys, you know?
Right.
So that's how it goes, you know? But what are you going to do, right?
Right.
Exactly.
So, Chuck, what are some of your memories of you and Shawn Statek winning the WCW World Tag Titles from Chronic on the May episode of WCW Thunder?
Yeah, it was cool. It was nice to be fortunate enough at 2 years into the business to be in that position, be on TV making money and having the titles. Titles to me don't mean anything really. Titles are a prop. You look at the champions we have now. If titles meant anything, we'd have different champions. Titles are a prop, and it was cool. It helped at the time. Would I have liked to work with a better group of guys? Yeah. But it worked.
Definitely. My next question for you is, how was Shawn Statek as a partner?
Statek as a partner, I mean, solid in the ring and stuff, but he's just all he hasn't met him. He's a strange cat, you know? Anybody knows he's a strange cat, and I'm a pretty laid-back, real dude, and it was a challenge, but me, I'm one of those guys, I get along with anybody, man, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we worked it. We worked it, but he's a crazy cat, that's for sure.
Definitely. Whose idea was it for you, along with many other young WCW talent, to form the Natural Born Thrillers?
That was basically me, Mike Sanders, Jindrak. That was kind of our deal. Originally, we were all guys hanging out at the power plant trying to get a job, and that's what we came up with. O'Hare came in later, yeah, it was just a little deal we put together coming out of the power plant with the help of Jimmy Hart. That's one thing I must say. I commend Jimmy Hart. He got us on the Saturday night WCW TV program, which was big. It got us, got our feet wet, and he had a lot of faith in us.
Right. Speaking of Shawn O'Hare, you actually teamed with him both in WCW and WWF. How was O'Hare as a tag team partner?
He was all right. He greener than me, and I was green, but looked very impressive, and I think that's where people were digging him, and that's where I think the management was digging him. His look, was big and super athletic. I think if he had more time, he would have really turned out to be something big,
Right. What are the memories of you and O'Hare defeating the Insiders, which were DDP and Kevin Nash, for the WCW World Tag Titles at WCW Sin?
Yeah, that was fun, man. That was one of the highlights for me. Again, not because of the titles. Titles don't mean dick to me, but it was the fact that we got to work with Kevin Nash and DDP. Got a lot of respect for both those guys. They've been around a while, so I learned a lot from those guys, and I think if anything, that was the highlight,
Right.
How emotional was it backstage on the last night of WCW Nitro on March 26th of 2001?
It's funny, emotion. I don't know if emotions would be the word to describe it. It was weird. It was weird and nerve-wracking. You're sitting in a locker room with all your guys from WCW, which was a turn-to-own product, and here comes Shane McMahon, the son of Vince McMahon. And now he's calling the shots. You go to the gorilla position, you get Jerry Briscoe back there, and it's like, who are these guys, I mean, I know you know who they are, but weird feeling. It was cool. A little bit of pressure, but I was real happy that I got to perform on the last actual episode. So that made my night. A little weird, though. Obviously WWF guys come in like they're the shit. Shane comes in with an attitude. Briscoe comes in with an attitude. It's like typical, but, whatever.
What were your thoughts on that night when you wrestled Team Canada on the Nitro?
It was cool, man. Too bad what happened with Mike O'Hare. I'm sorry, Mike Awesome. But it was cool, man. It was fun. Have been around a while. Lance Storm and Mike Osman have been around a while. So, again, anytime young guys can go ahead and work with these older guys who are veterans, I mean, it's a learning experience. So I felt privileged.
Definitely. You know, you were actually with the company, or it's been 8 years since the purchase of WCW. Did you think that the company would ever go out of business or be purchased by Vince at the time?
You know, towards the end, I did. I thought just because the way it was being managed, it was basically it was going to implode at some time or another, and it did. But in the beginning, no, man. I thought it was never going to end. You know, WCW was definitely the place to work. The money was 10 times better than what Vince paid his guys. The guaranteed money was better. Everything was better. Travel was better. Hotels were better. Actually, they paid for our hotels, paid for our rental cars. Went to Vince, and it was like pay dropped. Paying for your own cars, paying for your own hotels.
Oh, wow.
You know, people talk about, you know, WWF being better than WCW. No way. And it's funny because the guys who thought they wanted to leave WCW and go to Vince, once we got over to Vince, they ate their words. They wished they were back in WCW. That includes the Booker T's, the Buff Bagwells, the Lex Lugers. Those guys, Stein, Scotty, good friend of mine, Scotty Stein, those guys wish WCW was still around. So do I, you know.
Yeah, you bring up Buff Bagwell. We had him on a while back, and he brought up that, you know, when he first arrived at the last Nitro, that you know, the original Four Horsemen and everybody were standing outside taking pictures, and everyone was in tears, and it was just very emotional. Do you agree with him?
No, not really. It wasn't that emotional. I think people are I think those guys are over exaggerating a little bit. People were lost for words. People didn't know what to think. It was I don't know, I can't really describe it. It was weird. It was a weird scene. People they didn't know what to think. They didn't know what was going to happen next. People were very unsure. That was more of the deal, like that, you know.
Definitely.
Of course, tomorrow is WrestleMania. What I'm wondering is, how was it like being backstage at WrestleMania 17?
Oh, it was good. I think I wrestled in that one, didn't I?
Actually, I do believe you did.
I think so.
WrestleMania, anytime you can participate in WrestleMania, it's amazing. I think I was at the Toronto Skydome. I want to say 67,000 people. It's like amazing feeling, amazing rush. I remember walking to the ring, it took forever. Billy and I walking to the ring, it was like amazing. But yeah, it's a privilege to be part of that show. I would say one of the greatest shows in the world. Yeah, I wish I could have did more of them.
Definitely. What were your thoughts of being a part of the Alliance stable when you guys did the invasion of WWF?
I think it sucked. I think they pretty much just jobbed us all out, you know. That pretty much showcased the WWF guys that do anything for the guys coming in. Again, I refer to the fact that Vince always breaks guys down when he brings them in. I don't care how over they are, how not over they are, he breaks them down to zero for the most part, unless you're a main event guy, and he starts from scratch with you. Unless he built you from ground up, he's going to break you back down and build you again from ground up.
Definitely. You actually brought up Billy Gunn as a tag team partner. What was it like teaming with him? And whose idea was it?
Oh, gosh, that originally started off as a joke. I believe Sarge and Slaughter was joking around in one of the agents' meetings. That's pretty much how it started. And then Vince jumped on the bandwagon. Hunter jumped on the bandwagon with it. And I remember Hunter had came up to me and said, "Hey, Chuck, man, Vince is going to have you guys dye your hair blonde and wrestle the tag team, you know, and do this extravagant thing." And it was supposed to be a joke, you know. It ended up turning out to be something real good, you know.
Yeah, it was very over.
Yeah, but very over, and it was never intended to, but that's the thing in wrestling. The things that you never think would get over, you know. Things that you think are going to get over, don't get over, you know?
Yeah, it's always the most simple gimmicks that people, you know, you're like, why are you making me do this? But it gets over. The crowd loves it.
People love it. It was simple. It was fun. I'm a confident man. I mean, I don't care about acting like, you know, whatever they want to call us. What were we? We were performing gay innuendos, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I made more money. highlight of my career as far as money goes. I made more money that year than I did any year of my career, you know.
Right.
Definitely.
What are your memories of you and Billy Gunn winning the WWF World Tag Team titles from Taz and Spike Dudley?
Nah, that was no big deal. I gotta be honest with you. Again, privileged again, but again, a prop. Number one, number two. When Spike and Taz had the titles, basically they would just. I don't remember how they won the titles, but they weren't an established tag team. It wasn't like we won the titles from, the Road Warriors or, something like that. You know what I mean? And that's not a knock on those guys. I love both those guys. They're great guys, but they threw those guys together. They had the straps on them. They wanted us to be the champs, so we took the straps off them. That's basically how it happened. It was,
You think they were just transitioning champions?
They were transitioning champions. I understand that, which was fine. And I think they knew that, too. It's just part of the business. Again, to me, tag titles are a prop, a privilege,
Definitely.
But a prop.
Right.
No, I agree. Any trophy in wrestling, whether it's a belt or King of the Ring, stuff like that, it's always a prop. It's just something to help somebody get over more. You don't need it.
Absolutely.
If you can get your career, if you can get yourself over without a belt, then that's even better than putting a belt on you, because that's just another thing to carry in your bag.
Absolutely. Especially with the airport security these days.
Exactly. Trust me, I know I'm an indie worker, so I totally understand that.
Oh, right on. No, so you get it then, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I do believe Juice and Jobber has a question.
All right. I was also wondering, what thoughts on Billy Wrestling Edge and Hulk Hogan on the July episode of SmackDown back in 2002?
Oh, man. That was fun. Except when Hulk Hogan backed out of my super kick and didn't want to take it. And I missed him by about 3 inches. But other than that, it was great. Here I am, 45 minutes from my hometown of Providence, Rhode Island, in Boston, at the Fleet Center in front of probably 15,000 people. Here I am wrestling against Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like, here I am. I'm the same guy who grew up watching Hulk Hogan. So to be in the ring with him and laying into him and wrestling with him and working with him and just the stigma, his charisma, the energy of the crowd, that was amazing. That was probably one of the definite highlights. I get a lot of respect for Hulk. He's a pioneer,
You mentioned working with Hulk. Working with bigger names or even legends, you always learn something. Do you feel you learned a lot from working with him?
Absolutely. I learned that less is more, and I don't care what anybody says. You can be the best wrestler, technical wrestler in the world, and that does not mean anything.
I totally agree with you. I'm always one to say that, just because you can do 1,000 flips doesn't mean you can entertain a crowd.
Absolutely. And he's a perfect example of that.
Yeah, he goes out there, he works the crowd. That's exactly what you need to do. Whether you're a heel or a face, it's great to work the crowd compared to doing 1,000 flips. Sure, anybody, like I put it, any jackass can do 1,000 flips, but to actually work a match and tell a story, that's another story.
Yeah, absolutely. The business is entertainment. The name of the business is wrestling,